Some say that the Vikings believed runes were magical, but they didn't have LEDs and fancy tools to make them look that way. I'm going to combine woodworking and blacksmithing, modern electronics, while trying not to short circuit my beer. I don't know if it's actually going to work, so I'm just going to have to make it and find out. The idea is to make a section of the wood as thin and transparent as possible, without breaking through. I've seen this done with thin veneers, like for digital clocks, but a veneered mug would look strange, so I'm using a different technique. I'm trying here to spell drink for Odin. It's actually Elder Futhark, which historically is more Germanic, but I think the runes look cooler, so this could probably be done easier if I had a CNC router. These vinyl stickers should work just as well. Just gotta make sure the stickers are mirror image. I got the wood down to about 1/32. Let's see if it works. Hit the lights. Oh yeah, that's gonna look good. To figure out the electronics, I'm gonna use my learning lab from back in the day. I learned a lot from this kit as a kid. Now it's actually pretty useful to prototype and figure out circuits and whatnot. I'm gonna be using a capacitance sensor. It's pretty commonly used in things like touch lamps. Should be staying on. Let me try something. I don't think I can make it work. Unless... After a couple brain farts, I ended up figuring out that I need a probe on the inside of the mug to be able to accurately detect liquid, like how electric tea kettles or coffee makers have. Alright, here we go. Hell yeah. Later, I'm gonna have to figure out how to make it food safe, and also how to be able to disconnect the mug for cleaning. Alright, I think it's time for old union coffee break. After the break, I finish off the wood. The cleaner I make these cuts, the nicer the edges on the mug will be when I glue it together. To control all the electronics, I could use a small microcontroller like an Arduino, but the circuit's pretty simple, so I figured I'd just make my own little board. Much cheaper too. One of the design challenges of embedding these bright LEDs in wood and epoxy is that they need to be connected to a good heatsink. Otherwise, they'll overheat and cook themselves. First, this stubborn manufacturing glue's gotta go. Nothing that some acetone can't handle. Life is all about balance. After working my fine motor skills, It's time to switch gears and hit hot stuff with a hammer. I put together this anvil stand the other day. I was tired of tripping over retractable casters, so I put them on the inside, connected to a chain and jack screw mechanism. Came out to be quite convenient, actually. The handle design is nothing too technical, basically a thick S-hook. The tricky part was to match the size perfectly to fit the mug and the bands. I laid it out on paper to give me an easier time knowing where to start my twists and bends. I think I could do better. I played around with the order of operations and also went down in bar size to make it less chunky. After practicing it a few more times, I finally got one that I liked. Fits good in the hand too. For the glue up, I'm using an extended work time glue. It gives me plenty of time to do what I gotta do. I practiced a few dry runs for this, so I was feeling pretty confident. Of course, that is until I realized I forgot to put glue on one edge. Luckily, I still finished in good time and managed not to break the electronics. To protect the electronics, I'm going to pot them in potting resin, after sealing the edges to make sure it doesn't leak into the battery compartment, filling it just to expose the connector. Because I don't want to just fill the whole mug with resin, then drill most of it back out, I'm going to create a mold. Unfortunately, my silicone mold didn't fully cure the first time around. I suspect I didn't let the clay dry long enough. I had to redo it. This time, sealing the clay just in case. I carefully seal the inside. If I get any resin on the connector, it's basically game over. Cross my fingers, I'll be able to get that mold back out. We'll check back on them later. For the bands, I put together a pattern loosely based on the gelling style, named after a cup found in the town of Jelling, Denmark. It was buried with King Gorm, father of my man Harold Bluetooth. No doubt they also drank for Odin. This Renaissance stuff is probably the greatest thing I've found to protect against fingerprints. I grabbed the practice piece to see how easy it is to bend. This 16 gauge steel turned out to be quite the challenge to bend without a jig. Man, what are we doing here? Now, to try to get this mold out, gotta hold my tongue just right. Fun part about this design is that I can now use a simple router to round out the lip. No need to mess around with the lathe. I'm using a double-walled stainless mug for the insert. Figured I'd ask nicely first. To keep liquid from going in between the insert and the mug, I had a small foam gasket to create a nice tight seal. We also decided to add a cover to the switch and charger, just to keep all the electronics hidden. This is where patience and concentration come into play. Slowly sand down the wood right before the point where the black vinyl starts showing. Just a little bit too far and will ruin the whole thing. Then I seal her off with a nice food grade finish. To connect all our pieces together, I need to make some brackets and rivets. I've always found it interesting how in today's world, we're so used to handling things made of plastic and foam that when I pick up something made from real material, it feels oddly heavy. Almost like our brains calibrated to the weight of the plastic.
Oh yeah.
Quick rinse, charge. Now, all I need is my boy. I judge the projects I design not on just how well they work, but on how clean and simple they look from the outside, no matter how complicated they may actually be.
No.
This one, there's of course a few things I would change, but overall I'm happy with how you wouldn't be able to tell that it lights up until only after you fill it. There's plenty of more engineering and thought that went into this, so don't hesitate to ask any design or technical questions in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer. Catch you in the next one.
Skol!